let's open it up with Ray. So, well, let me ask you something, Ray. So you've been at that position as everybody else 10 months ago. So how was it back then, if you compare it to now, 10 months later?
Oh, yeah. So I took the workshop. Hello, everyone. So I took the workshop last November. Well, it's hard to believe that it's only 10 months ago. It feels very different. When I joined in, I heard some of the slides and the presentation. It seemed so second nature. The things that you're talking about, the exit rules and setup quality, it was completely foreign. I've never traded futures before. So the workshop, when I took the workshop, it was brand new. Everything is brand new, and it took some time to get the patterns, kind of rewire my brain to get the patterns become intuitively recognizable, and then it took more time to become, I would say, competent in figuring out what is a good quality setup versus a mediocre one. So that is some work, again, rewiring brain. And now I would just say I'm very comfortable with trading the system and confident.
Let's talk about, because I mentioned that to the group, that in the beginning, I think to remember, you had some difficulty with the test bar, right? You didn't like it.
Yeah.
It scared you, didn't it?
Yeah, yes, about that. It was, yeah, sure. So we only talk about system one in this for today, right? So system one, the test bar, it's a little bit counterintuitive, right? It actually, if I think back, it took me some time to really fully digest the kind of the psychological footprint, as you would call it, behind the pattern. And the test bar needs to be big and scary, and but there's definitely emotional charges associated with big red bars. That's when I have experienced my losses, right? When I initially, quote unquote, traded. So at the beginning, actually, I avoid, right? I don't, when I saw the big red bar, the test bar, I get scared. I don't want to enter. Nowadays, I look forward to seeing the big red bar. The belief behind it's a completely different, and emotion. I get excited and say, "Whoa, I get a big red bar." So now I get into high alert, right? Stalking mode. So, and even during the simulation, there was a lot to work through. We haven't talked about the simulation, but I had to really simulate a lot to become comfortable with the test bar. One of the common mistake is not entering too early without the test bar and then get stopped out by the actual test bar. That happened a lot at the beginning. And so, oh, this probably is a test bar. And then, that the FOMO also come in, right? And you would enter and then you got stopped out by the actual test bar. That happened repeatedly at the beginning. Then you just learn through the mistake. So
let's open it up to questions from everybody.
Okay.
Just unmute and ask whatever you want. Marcel, you had a question.
Gabriel, can you hear me? It's Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah, just while you're waiting for Marcel, Ray, good to see you again.
Hi.
You talked about getting stopped out and by the ultimate test bar. Was that because you were not following the rules for the test bar and kind of not identifying the test bar correctly? Or can you just maybe explain a little bit more?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. So because for S1s, the test bar occurs kind of toward the end of the consolidation, right? During the consolidation, sometimes there are bars that, go below the base a little bit. And at the beginning, it was just not quite sure, like what the test bar should look like. And there was some guesswork and also, I think emotionally, there's, this great trend and you wanted to get in. So you see something that there's like a kind of mini test bar, let's call it, right? Then you want to get in. right? You don't want to miss the setup. You don't want to miss the trend. You want to get in. So then that's just premature entry. So for me, it would just be combination of FOMO and not fully understanding what a true test bar is. And it's not just me. I think it's actually a very common mistake. We had a group of students, kind of going through the same experience, and it's common, but it can be changed with practice, and I just don't make the mistake anymore. It's just right now, if I look at the chart, it's very easy for me, where the test bar is it's very clear.
And how did you learn that?
We had many months of simulation. That was very helpful to put the concept into practice, and they just repeatedly simulate, especially for the ones, let's just say I made a mistake and entered too early, not waiting for the test bar and then got stopped out. I would just re-simulate, right? Gabriel will say, simulate this again, simulate it repeatedly until it's kind of ingrained in my brain. So simulation, I think, really helps. And also, I probably should address the emotional component as well, right? I think I see a lot of my super trader friends in the audience. I think there's definitely charges associated with the red bar, kind of the so feeding release or something. Get rid of the charge, so it doesn't become a hurdle anymore. The big red bar on the long side, right? The big red bar doesn't scare you from entering the position. So hope that helps. I'm trying to see.
So Ray,
oh, Lisa, hello, good to see you. Virtual hug.
No, right? So how did you actually get rid of the fear of the big red bar? Because the bar with the long wicks, I don't really care about those. That doesn't really bother me.
The bold one, right?
I know that buyers have stepped in and they're actually bringing it higher. But it's that solid, lot of power behind it, big volume, red bar, which is that elephant test bar. How'd you actually get rid of your fears?
Feeling release from the, I did feeling release and just kind of the emotional pain from previous losses and, get rid of that. And then the other piece is just with more practice, and you've seen, after seeing enough data points and evidence of it works beautifully, and then it just let brain kind of get on board as well. Just say, okay, this is it, right? It's going to be a great outcome, right? I mean, most likely, right? Probability wise, is the odds is on your side, and it's just fine. You just no problem there. But it took some time. It's to get used to it, but it's definitely trainable. Yeah. I can speak from experience, and with the mistakes I made at the beginning, I don't make the mistakes anymore. It's actually, I think S1 is actually fairly easy to spot because the bar is so pronounced. Right now, like if I think back, right, once I get rid of the mistakes, it's actually quite easy because it's very pronounced. Right, it is kind of like sometimes you see it as no mistake about it. That's the signal. So the fact that it's big and scary actually works to our advantage. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Marcelia.
Hi.
My question was, other than the breakout or the red bar, what was the hardest thing to adopt or learn as part of the entire process? Thank you.
Okay. So there's probably a lot of things I could say here. The hardest thing, you think the hardest thing for kind of trading the system, right? Or the process, there's kind of different angles. But I think the hardest thing for me would be patience. I think I think it probably depends on the person. Patience is not my virtue. I'm not a patient person. I tend to jump in. I make decisions very quickly. So, the system does require higher time frame trend, right, to be in, EMA trend, right? And also it needs consolidation, 3 swing touches, right? So it's there are components of the setup that need to be met, right? So for me, it was just learn to be patient and wait, right? Which is not easy for me. Then I tend to jump in a lot. So, fear to pull the trigger was never an issue, but I overtrade. So that was my problem. But too active and say, oh, this is it, I want to get in. No, that was just learn to be patient. Yeah, that was the hardest one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So should I be checking the chat? It's good to see everyone's faces. Let me just see how much. Oh, there's a bunch. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Marcel Hardison, we got that. What futures? Okay, so Jeff, what futures do you trade on? What platform do you use? Okay, I trade the equity futures, the metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, and energy with crude, natural gas, and VIX as well. I actually had a good trade recently on the VIX. And what else? Bitcoin occasionally. So these are, platform. I use, I think, Thinkorswim personally, but it has, okay. How near are you to your system stats? Oh, okay. I'm not as good as Gabriel, so I think I'm around 3. I just finished my SuperTrader 2 and working on my SuperTrader 3, which is to get my system approved by BAN. So I'm actually compiling the detailed stats based on my preliminary results. I'm trying to make it better. I'm around 3 right now. So hi, James. How much time do you spend trading, prepping for these systems per week? What's your target weekly expectancy? So I think for how much time I spent, at the beginning, of course, it's longer. I would just say it definitely takes time to not just learning the system, and also just figure out your own process. Once you start to trade the live market and set up, each person's different. Just set up your own process, and how do you do your weekly scans, and to get an understanding of the higher time frame. It took some trial and errors for me to figure out what works best for me. The time after I figured out the best process for me, the time definitely reduced. So currently, I would say that, let me see, let me just look at the question again. How much for my weekly scan, it's like most of the time, I'll be done with it within 30 minutes. It used to take much longer, like maybe an hour or 2. So on a daily basis, I think it depends. Some days when, the higher time frame trend is really strong, I spend more time working on the lower time frame. But when the higher time frame is, kind of not very strong, I take less time. I spend less time stalking. So maybe on average, I would say maybe 2 to 3 hours. And actually, as I trade more, as I gain more experience trading the system, I just trade less, right? I do less, kind of it's not, I used to do a lot more. I spend more time, and stalking, it's probably part of the FOMO as well. Just, spend a lot of time glued to the computer, but not anymore. Maybe 2 hours, I would say. Oh, and then I think the second part of the question.
Trade?
Not Fridays, mostly. I would say Tuesday through Thursday, but sometimes Monday is kind of to get a feel of the market. But occasionally, right, Monday and Friday, if there's really strong setup, I do take trades on Mondays and Fridays. But most of the time, I'm more careful. I don't usually take trade on Fridays, anyways, and except for special situations. I think James had a second part of the question about goals. So I think we had, I think I had a weekly 2-hour goal for 2 hours per week. I think Gabriel actually recommended like 2 hours per week or 5 hours per month. So now I think these days I'm just working on the, a monthly goal or maybe 2 weeks goal of monthly will be, I think, probably I would say 6 to 10 is my goal for the month. And weekly, because I gave myself a little bit breathing room, because some weeks are just better, and then other weeks I don't want to force things out of each week. So I use like 2 week or monthly goal. Let's see, where is, I lost track of the questions. Let me see. Now that, okay, hi Richard. Now that you're more advanced in your learning, do you still need time practicing with simulation?
And I'll turn my video on because you said you like to see.
Hi, yes, that's good. Good to see you. Yeah, I should do more, right? Now, Gabriel, I'll admit to you that I don't do enough simulation that I should. Yeah, I totally believe in it, and if I have, I can squeeze out time, I'll do it because I know it's good for me. I don't know how much we talk about simulation, but before Gabriel's workshop, I haven't, even heard of the word simulation. I don't even know what a simulator is, right? That's why Gabriel said I'm really a beginner novice coming into this. But it just is so important. It's like conditioning, right? So athletes, they do a lot of conditioning. I think simulation is just really conditioning of, build it needs these visual patterns, right? You need to build it into your brain, and I think human beings are by nature we spot pattern. We're designed, right? Our brains are wired to spot patterns, right? That's how we kind of function in the world. So these patterns have its own special qualities and traits and characteristics. It takes time to, rewire the brain to see it and spot it in real time in a kind of like, could be in a stressful situation or like in live market. So I think simulation really helps to do that. I practice martial arts. So, I just thought about kind of the similarity because we do hand drills, right? If punch comes in, right? James, you probably can appreciate it. I know he practiced martial arts as well. So the punch coming in, you do your block and you do your punch, right? At the beginning, like when the punch come in, I'm just like, I wince and I try to get away. But after you do enough of that, then it's just an immediate like instinctive response. I think that's what simulation does. It just make it like an instinct. And then, Van talk about the good mental strategy is see the signal, feel good about it, and act without thinking, right? That's kind of the 3 steps, and simulation will help greatly to do that, right? It just really kind of shortens the duration between action and seeing the signal. It really is important.
Thanks for the insight.
It's a long-winded question, answer to your question.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Sorry, I can't pronounce the name. What were your big aha? Could you put them in during these 10? Could you put them in during these 10 months? Big aha. There are many big aha moments. Let's see. Some of them are not system specific, I guess. It's probably more trading specific. One is, Gabriel, I'll start with your favorite about being captain of your ship, right? Or being captain of your trading. So that, for me, is at some point during the 10 months, it starts to, I fully internalize what it means. Not being kind of tossed around by the market and really, I think many of us probably experienced FOMO, right? I think one of the big aha is just really like the market will be ready when I'm ready, right? That there's no shortage of opportunities, right? The kind of the scare at the beginning, it was like the scarcity of the patterns, and if I miss a good one, will there be another good pattern, right? But then with experience, those things get worked out, and you just know, and there's an infinite amount of opportunities. So the key is you be ready when to take advantage of the opportunities. So that is one. And what else? The other thing is just with, the simulation actually helps to get in tune with the market, the rhythm of the market, if you will. So like one of my haha is, when I observe the market action, and I observed in nature, like flock of birds, right? Sometimes they just turn suddenly, right? Seemingly randomly, and then just they turn at the same, simultaneously, the entire flock of birds. And then I thought it's quite similar in the market. Sometimes it just makes these turns and these movements. And for us as traders, I think our job is to kind of joining in that, in that market action, and just kind of be one with it, if you will. So that's the other piece that off of the top of mind that I can think of right now. Okay, I would like to ask audible questions. Thomas, so yeah, this just feel free to speak up.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you, Ray?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, what did you do? What do you think caused you to be stopped out repeatedly in the beginning? Was it context within the total pattern? Were you not looking? Were you not getting 4 touches? Were there pieces of the system that you were missing? What was it? What did you see causing it? Which I have to believe that you must have thought about while you were trying to correct the problem. And what did you ultimately do, and how long did it take to correct it? I mean, was it a gradual thing, or did you just sort of get a big aha and snap in?
I think I'll answer the second part first. I think, how long it was resolved during simulation. So I guess how long was the simulation, Gabriel? Like
1 month.
Yeah, so then I guess it's resolved within that simulation, within that 1 month. It's gradual. I have to think back, right? Because it's distant memory now. I have to put myself back into the state when I was making the mistake. I don't think it's, for me, at least, it wasn't a big one aha moment. It's more gradual. Oh, but there is actually a one aha. Like one of the students made a comment one day, very insightful, that helped me with, let me paraphrase, I think he said, if you're wondering if it is a test bar or not, it's probably not. So something like that, right? Maybe he said it differently, but to me, it was like, oh, okay. So that maybe is an aha in there as well. So it's a combination of graduate and some of the insights that I learned from other students. And so the first part, what caused? Gabriel, you mentored me. What caused my mistake at the beginning? It maybe just a lack of familiarity with the system. Yeah. I don't know how. Like I can't.
Maybe I can talk about that. So in the beginning, please. Obviously, well, you'll like if there are like 10 patterns around, you might only be able to spot, I don't know, let's say 5, right? So there's some FOMOing, right? Oh, I spot a pattern, I want to take it. And the rules are not super easy, right? So you might see a nice pattern, but the high frame is not trending. So this might be a reason. Or it's nicely trending, and you're taking a test bar that is not really a test bar, and you get stopped out by the test bar, right? So things that you're kind of forcing the trade. That's typically what comes up. Missing patience in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very easy to correct. This is it's actually now I'm looking back, thinking about it, it's actually it's very easy and obvious at, the test bar. So.
Hey, Rai, this is Jigar here.
Oh, hi.
Sorry. How can you use ThinkorSim for the simulation? Like you are doing back testing or live?
Simulation. Yeah, we didn't use TOS for simulation. We used Forex Tester. I think Gabriel, you will talk about it, the simulation later, right? In your future, in the other days of the workshop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Hold on. I think I thought about. Oh, Troy, future TED Talk. Thank you, Troy. TED Talk, yes. Still on my to-do. Okay. Good to see you, Troy. Max Fear. Does the system of Gabriel fits you, or do you start to feel you need to make some personal changes already? Okay, I'll go. Important question. I think in selecting system, it is very important to find a system that fits you. For me, it was a very easy decision. When I took the workshop back in November, right away I just knew it fit me. Interestingly, right, the patterns are visual patterns. The system based on visual patterns. I am not highly visual. I'm actually more auditory, but I liked the simplicity of the charting of the patterns. It's not like I'm not overwhelmed with different kinds of indicators. I find it to be very easy for me to follow. Yeah, I just like the simplicity, and it just all makes sense to me. How the higher time frame come in and kind of collecting edges. So that's that. And do you start? Do you need to make some personal changes already? I don't think I made a lot of tweaks to the system. At this point, I think obviously, as I got more experience, I take more discretionary trades. You just apply the discretion more versus when I first started off. And this is probably what, Gabriel, you would recommend to your students as well, right? At the beginning, just follow the rules. It works. And, over time, I think it's okay to adjust the system to what fits you best. And, for the exit, sometimes I just trail behind the swing lows. That just seems more natural to me sometimes. So I do that. Do you use any scanner to filter the candidate? No, because there's only, the equity futures, there's a limited number of contracts. So it's that, I just visually scan them by going through the charts. It doesn't take very long. If you use percent of capital as R, say the same order. Okay, so Marcus, percent of capital as R, say 0.5%, are using the same R, say 5 minutes. So position sizing on the different time frames, I use the same position sizing. Gabriel, you probably too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's, like if it is on the futures, something you can even trade 5-second charts, right? If it's on the lower time frame charts, you obviously can get more contracts with the same R position size. Okay, so let's see. Thomas. Oh, I got that already. Oh, hi, Lisa. Did you take the Brooks trading course as part of your foundation? I'm so behind on that. I started, Gabriel recommended the Brooks trading course. I started it right after I finished the workshop. There's like 100-some videos. I'm still only on number 12, so I'm doing it very slowly. Yeah, I do need to catch up. But one of the things I actually recently learned from the video is, I think that's something that Gabriel recommended also is a strong proponent to, is as you become more experienced, you don't increase your R goals. It's not like, well, now it's 2 hours per week. Now, like, I don't want to get 10 hours per week, right, in the future. But it's really, you kind of keep the same R, but increase your position size. I think that is absolutely critical. Al Brooks would say that you trade with a very small position size so that you are in this I don't care mode. It's so small, like you don't care, and then you gradually work on maximizing your position size, which is where I'm currently working on. When I first started real money trading, the system, I was being very conservative, like really small. I think I started with like $50, like 1 hour, and then worked up to like 100, 200, and it's not also it doesn't just increase it continuously, right? The impact on your psychology, you kind of absorb that and work through any issues, and then you just gradually increase it. Oh, hold on, where did it? Yeah, TOS does have sync on demand. Yeah, the on demand feature. Yeah, hi Michael. What do you have? This is very interesting. I'm the ENTJ when I first started the super trader. I think I through a lot of the psychology work, I actually think I'm a ENFJ. Why don't you use market money position sizing? Gabriel, I think that's a question for you.
Yeah.
I can answer it too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, these are rule-based discretionary systems, and I've tried a lot with markets money, which means basically if things go well, you gradually increase your position size, like from 1%, I don't know, to 1.3 to 1.6, right? Well, the problem is if you're in a winning streak, there's a tendency to get euphoric, right? To overtrade, and then you increase your position size. Well, this is kind of leverage on your mental state. I've tried that several times. I was like euphoric, and then big position size. I got even more euphoric, and then somehow you blow out mentally, right? I don't think it works well, markets money with rule-based discretionary. In an automated system, yeah, that's great. There's too much influence on the mental state.
Yeah. I will defer to Gabriel on that. I myself, I haven't concluded. I haven't tried it. So, based on what I know about myself, I'll probably try it and see if it works or not. If, I've done that before. Gabriel will say, don't do this. I'll say, well, let me try it. And then I realized, oh, it didn't work. So then I'll just correct. What time frame do you trade most? Let's see. Well, this is also interesting. At the beginning, like with the FOMO and everything, I was trading all time frames, including 5 seconds, 15 seconds, right? Because you get really excited to see the patterns on the lower time frame. Nowadays, I think I'm just more relaxed and kind of more take it easy. I think 15 minutes, like 1 hour, probably the most common ones, or 5 minutes. Yeah, I rarely go below 1 minute these days. It's just like too much work for me. You have to be really on top, like on your toes, and yeah, it's just I don't enjoy that anymore. I used to think like 1 minute is too slow, right? So it's just like mental state is different. I think I really worked on my excitement part a lot. Hi Claudio. What time frame? Oh, I think I just answered that. The time frame. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all the questions, right? If there's any questions I didn't address, feel free to. What was our longest trend or position time-wise before being flat? What was your longest trend or position time-wise before being flat?
What was your longest trade? I think he means.
Oh, longest trade. My gold trade probably so far. 1 month. Actually, take it back. NQ, NASDAQ from May to I just exited a few days ago, I think. It was from April.
What time?
That was on daily. That was daily.
And the gold trade?
I think gold trade was from It was like July to probably a month and a half.
Which time?
Or
frame?
months. Like there's 2 positions. That was 1 hour.
1 hour
At the beginning,
charts.
and then I swung it to 4 hour. Yeah.
Hey Ray, it's Troy again. Hi.
Hi, Troy.
Nice to see you.
Oh, good to see you.
Hey, quick question. If you could go all the way back to November of last year.
I don't want to. No, I'm kidding.
And give yourself some advice, what would it be?
Be patient with yourself. That's like, just know that you're not gonna get it in one day, but just stick with it, and it works. It's so powerful. I will use the S2 as an example, right? The second system as an example. Yeah, for those who are, that was the system. Like that was a pattern that was the hardest for me to get. I just even during simulation, I totally didn't get it during the workshop. I did simulation, and I was just like pulling my hair out and say, well, I just don't get it, right? But now it's my favorite.
So how did you get to that breakthrough? Was it just grinding, just hitting it, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just rewiring the brain. And I literally believe, like, if you look at the science behind the brain, it's just building myelin, right? Gabriel's one of their favorite book on talent code. They talk about deep practice and really building, I guess, component in the brain so that you recognize a pattern. Like, yep. Yeah, I just couldn't get it at the beginning. I just, not being a visual person, right? It's a little bit intricate. The pattern is more sophisticated compared to S1 as an example, but it's so powerful. It's really my favorite. And when I see the pattern, it works very well. I've got a really good silver trade base off of that from end of June, I think. It's beautiful. It works really well. So I think, back to your question is just be patient with yourself and, understand that it takes time to build the mental muscles, but it will come together.
Yeah. Good.
It does.
Very proud of you. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
And if I just can step in here. So this is basically done during simulation, right? So after the workshop, it's about simulating, building the experience, and fully understanding the systems. And then it will, like, once you have simulated, I don't know, 30, 40 of those patterns, S2 patterns, right? But at some point of time, it clicked, right? It's a gradual process, basically.
Yeah, you just see it. It just is, it's hard to explain, but just from I don't see it, right? It's just so clear and obvious. It became really obvious. Yeah, and then now, like, even S2 on the short side, right? I get it, a lot better than before too.
So Ray, if you see a trade setting up, say right when the market opens, or it's setting, when the futures market trades longer, but however, right at the opening bell for the stocks, right? Mm-hmm. So if you see a trade setting up, do you wait an hour, or is there any time frame that you're waiting, or you just see them when you just take them when you see them? No, regardless if it's 10 o'clock at night, doesn't matter.
There's some nuances to the question. If it's 10 o'clock at night, like first of all, I'll address the last part, right? If it's 10 o'clock at night, I definitely don't take, because I shut off my computer after market closes. It's part of define your own personal trading game. Like Van would say, like the kind of the reinvention game, right? You really design your own trading game. At the beginning, when I first started trading the system in live market, I was literally trying to trade 24/7, like waking up in the middle of the night, hearing alerts, right? But that's not sustainable, right? It's just, again, like part of the FOMO. But with all the psychology work we've done, I think, if we can easily fix those issues, as I said before, I trade less and less. I used to I have some alerts like after the stock market closed after 1 p.m. Nowadays, I don't even have that. I turned that completely off. So I'm like really out of the market. Like after 1 p.m., I'm done, right? I don't do anything with it. in terms of entering, like you said, like right at the bell or something, most of the time I just take the pattern as it come up. Like sometimes when I do over time, I develop some rules for myself. Like if it is right before the open, right, like 6 o'clock, well, actually my time, right, like 9 o'clock, right, I just say something set up and on a lower time frame, I be careful. I usually become, I tend to be more careful because at the open there's some volatility, and if I'm trading the 1 minute or less, then it could, sometimes it's just not worth the trouble. But most of the time, I think I take it when I see it. Especially on the longer time frame, it doesn't matter that much. And did I answer your question? Oh, and also like the other thing is I trade with I often use options to trade these future setups. So I'm done. That's actually one of the reasons I choose to trade options on some of the swing trades, especially because I just don't want to do anything with the market after it's closed. I can't do anything anyways. I trade options, so it just helped me to stay out of the market, which is top task of trading.
Yes. So are you actually buying the options and then closing them the same day?
No.
Spreads,
I swing. I mostly swing the options. Like the gold trade I was talking about, it was like 40 days out or something. Like yeah. And then I have lead calls as well. So I think it's fine to use on longer time frames. Yeah. I know you trade options. You're option pro.
No, I know I don't know
works.
but I definitely trade them on stocks a lot.
Yeah. So you can definitely do that. That's how I use it.
Thank you.
So you're living on the West Coast, Ray. So when do you start trading? What time of the day?
So, well, interesting, right? I can probably actually talk a little bit about, the whole thing about setting up your personal process of trading. Because for me, market opens at 6:30, like the market, but of course, the 24 hours, right? I developed the morning routine. I run every morning. That's part of my routine. I like to run in the morning. So nowadays, after I run for maybe 40 minutes, so maybe 7:30-ish is when I start. Because I wanted to at the beginning, when I first started, I wanted to be in the market, but I wanted to run as well. I felt like I had to give up my running and my morning run. I usually run 3 to 4 miles every morning, and then I did that. It didn't feel good, so and then I said I'm going to run, do my morning routine. When I come back, the market will be there for me. So it's just as you talk about the kind of being the captain of your own trading, and get rid of the FOMO. There's good patterns in every hour, every time frame. Like it's always there. So yep. So any other questions? Okay. Oh, hold on. How often do I see convert future trades to swing trades? How often do you convert future trades to swing trades? Let's see. I would say probably convert to swing trades. Maybe I would say, like, for me, actually, maybe 60% of the time, like, I take it to a swing position. Yeah, Michael, I hope that answered the question. It changed for me. At the beginning, I trade a lot more lower time frame. Now I just sort of don't bother with that. Amos. Hi, Amos. What is your usual longest time frame and your shortest time frame trades. I think these days my shortest time frame trades 1 minute. Longest daily. Yeah. Hi Steve, do you have everything mostly ingrained now, or do you still use some hint sheet or any automated system to keep track of all parts of the system? I actually have the system. I don't know if you can see it on my wall here. There's a cheat sheet, but it's been there, but I don't need to look at it anymore most of the time. So it's pretty much in my head now. But it takes some time, and then at the beginning, it's really good to check all the rules. Oh, Gabriel, one of the things I learned from simulation, actually speaking of the rules of the system, one of the things I realized is after the workshop when I started simulate is actually there are some misunderstandings or like assumptions that I made about the system. Remember Gabriel, you were saying like, this is a rule you made up yourself, right? I didn't know, I wasn't aware. I'm saying, so anyway, so after I've gone through those processes, I think I've got all the parts internalized. Okay, Fortney. So you would say your expectation changed from maximum R gain to steady the R gains. Yeah, I would just say is a R goal for a period of time, like weekly, bi-weekly, or months, and what I strive for is consistent performance to hit that R goal. 100% efficiency, as Ben would say, right? Zero mistake, like no mistakes, and the focus is on continuously working on my psychology so that I can increase the position size without taking a step back on my R results. Like I think whenever you increase your position size, I think psychologically there is some impact, and like that's something that to be worked through over time. I don't think maximize R gain is a good goal.
Can I just add something here, because it's a good point Nay is making here. So stretch goals don't work in trading, right? And I work with stretch goals. It doesn't work. So what works is kind of low-hanging fruit goals, and that's basically the 2 hours per week or 5 hours per month, but consistently, right? It doesn't mean that you stop trading when you're like on Monday, Tuesday, when you have achieved 2 hours. It doesn't mean that you stop trading. It's just you want to keep that at the end of the week, and now you're going for as high as you can go. This is the idea, right? To have a minimum level of R gain consistently.
Right, Gabriel. Another point I want to make, right? Now that you talk about this, is when I first started the live trading was actually real, like put real money into trading the system, like in May, I think. I think during the first week, I think like Tuesday or Monday, I'm already up. I'm plus 4 R, and then remember in our, we had a call, Gabriel, in the debriefing, and I was saying like I feel stressed, and you were saying like, how can you be stressed when you're plus 4 R? Do you have a R goal, right? Weekly R goal, and I said we had a goal of 2 R per week. You said no. Like, how about you? Do you have R goal? And then that's when I realized I didn't fully commit. Like, I didn't have a goal of 2 R, so I probably was thinking I want to maximize my R goal. And now, like having, I think the beauty of having a 2 R weekly goal is, that it's like one good trade, right? So it can be mentally in a very relaxed, mental state, which is really important, right? To spot good setups and manage your trade well. So I think that's really, it's very wise to have something like a weekly hour goal. Yeah, not crazy, right? Reasonable goal. I think this is for you, Gabriel. Claudio's question.
Are there other best times to trade futures with your 3 systems? Well, I have students all over the world, right? Like Ray's on the West Coast, like a good bunch is on the East Coast. Obviously, I have Europeans, Australians, Asia Pacific. I mean, all over the world. It doesn't really matter. These patterns, they come up, yeah, in a 24-hour cycle. And if you think about, for example, a 60-minute chart, like an S1 pattern, might build over 2 days, right? And then it might trigger at some point, okay. But it's not like they develop and trigger within an hour of a specific time zone, right? That's not how it works.
Yeah, but many people will have the belief, like some non-useful belief at the beginning that somehow I'm disadvantaged. I did too at the beginning. So, well, I'm on the West Coast, right? All the good patterns are gone by the time I woke up, right? It's all in the pre-market. It's just not true. You know, I think it's just really like the psychological footprint behind the system. It's like, and also you said market is fractal, it's everywhere. You know, like mostly we trade the equity and the metals and energy, right? You don't trade agriculture, Gabriel, like,
no,
right? See, I recently actually found like soybean. I found a good, pattern on soybean. It works. I was testing it out. So interesting. It's just psychology. I mean, human beings are trading the market. That's why it repeats itself. Right. How often are you then checking? So how often are you then checking your stops if you're on, say, 60-minute moving every hour on the bar close or just when you can? Oh, so for me, like, my stops, I have alerts. If it hits the alerts, then I know. And how often I don't, yeah. Closes or just when you can.
Sorry, Ray, this is Marcus.
Hi, Marcus.
Sorry, maybe to explain.
Yeah, sure.
Given that the markets are open virtually 24 hours a day, and let's say you're trading on a 60-minute or 1-hour chart, and you've got your entry and that triggers, and you're in, and you've set your stop. Obviously, if the trade starts moving in your favor, you're getting closing bars every hour, and 8 hours later in the middle of the night, if you were awake, for example, you might move your stop, that 20% risk that Gabriel was talking, or maybe it's even tighter, as up to 4 hour. And what I'm just trying to figure out is,
I see.
Got it. Monitoring the markets all day and all night kind of thing.
Yeah, got it. Okay, that's clear. Actually, for me, that's one of the reasons I trade options on these longer time frames. I just don't want to be, bothered with what's happening in the market after the stock market close. For me, that's how I've been trading the 1-hour chart. I use options. So I'll just wait for the next day. And also, like from a position sizing standpoint, I'm trading small position sizes at this moment. So like 1-hour chart, even from a position sizing standpoint on futures, may be too big for me anyways. Yeah, Gabriel, maybe you can comment. Yeah.
What was your best R multiple trade so far?
My gold and silver probably plus. I think they are plus 20. That's my best ones so far. And then my recent one, I got the fasted plus 10R on VIX, I think last week or something. So those are the good ones. Yeah. but it just like requires patience. Oh, okay. Oh, hi James. How many trades do you take a week? I would say depends. Some goes, like some weeks are like the trends are moving really well. On average, maybe let's see, 3 to 5, roughly. Like I haven't done the exact calculation, but roughly maybe 3 to 5 trades. I used to take a lot more than that. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I used to take a few a day because I was trading the second charts. Yeah. Okay. But Gabriel, you probably take more. I don't know how many trades you take a week.
Yeah,
Futures.
I take more than that. I'm
Yeah.
pretty flexible on the time frame, and I go down to the second charts too. Yeah, it's about, let's say, about 10 to 15 per week.
Yeah, for me, like I'm trying to reduce my time in trading. Because I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she started new school, and middle school there are other commitments. So, so I just take the best ones, and no need to waste my theory. Like right now, my mantra is I don't waste my hours on mediocre setups. I only take no regret trades.
So Ray, how do you determine what's a good setup versus a mediocre setup? Do you have certain criteria?
This is where all the training and then experience come into play with the simulation and everything. Let's see, it's not like a hard criteria, right? Sometimes there is like higher time frame, trends. Obviously, it's an important factor. Like avoid like overall sideways trends in like mid frame or high frame. Yeah, I think it becomes a kind of a qualitative. There's always plus and minuses, right? There's no perfect setup, right? Like really perfect, but there are ones that. So what I did was I actually developed like I have a passion level score for each setup. Like I put it literally in my trading journal, right? Take the screenshot. I write my pros and cons, plus and minuses, and then I will it's not calculate, but I will give it a score of how passionate I am about the setup, right? And I think Gabriel talked about, like, I don't know if Gabriel has talked about it or not, right? You need to be passionate, right, about the setup. And for me, it's like I have on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't take anything that's less than a 6, right? And then anything like above 8 or something, then I know, right? It's what I call no regret trades, and those usually work out very well. I think at one point I did a calculation of if I just take only the no regret like trades, and I think my win rate actually 80%. So I'm like, oh, why? It's just psychologically also easier for me to be very much in an indifferent state, because it's interesting combination of mental state, right? I'm very passionate about the setup, and at the same time, I could care less how it turned out, right? It's just like complete indifferent to the outcome. It's regardless how it's gonna turn out, I'm taking it because the setup is just really good. So these days I just, I try to just only take those ones, just for me. Given the limited time I want to spend on trading, I just want to just take the best ones. Yeah. I just find it easier. Maybe I'm just getting lazier. It's just easier.
That's work. Like most of the most famous traders, when I've read their books or seen them interviewed or whatever, then they're all like they're really indifferent to whether or not the trade makes or loses money. They really don't care. They just simply take it because the setup's there and it's great and it feels good and they're very intuitive about it. But
Yeah, exactly.
they're just like, makes money, loses money, it doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah. I think it's, I get to experience them and say, wow, this is why people can be indifferent, to the outcome. Yeah. It's a good state to be in. There's no stress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So my question is to the group now. Who knew Ray before, and do you see any change in her? Like since you saw her last time, it would be interesting to me because for me she has changed dramatically the last I don't know, last 10 months basically. Who knew her before?
She seems a lot more relaxed since I just.
Yeah, Lisa, we know from the first Peak 101 class 2 years ago.
I know. We actually kind of started the Super Trader program together.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we were on the same team along with Lynn and the
marble game.
marble game. Yeah, and she was pretty.
Oh, wow.
She was pretty laid back.
I know. I'm very high strung, kind of easy worked up, overachiever type of person, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Now that I'm just getting lazier.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm do less, accomplish more. Yeah.
Yeah, she seems a lot more confident, a lot more relaxed, a lot more matter of fact. Like, yay, win some, you lose some big deal.
Yeah, it's used to be I must win, right? To prove myself or something.
No.
Yeah. It's good. Trading is a great forum, platform to kind of work on ourselves. I think, for me, I see the market as my teacher, right? Of spirituality. I see, it's a good, gave me a good gauge, how well I'm developing spiritually. If I can trade well, that means, okay, I'm probably doing the right thing. And, and then when you increase the position size and say, oh, something triggers, then for me it's okay, so more work, right, is needed. So it's great,
Yeah, I think it's definitely true. I think that when you trade the market, you're basically trading a mirror, right? You're totally trading belief. Yep. You trade what you see. You trade your psychology, you trade your confidence. I mean, you trade everything. When you look at the market, it's just like a mirror back to you. So if you're feeling weak or upset or sad, then you're going to trade it all day long.
Yeah. And then just to know when not to trade. Yeah. Exactly. I think there was a few occasions where I just know I wasn't in a good state. The market is pretty good, but I'm just okay, just stay out. And good. Yeah, Lisa, you said it exactly right. It's a mirror, right? The market is a mirror, just like everything else, right? Yeah. Oh, Gabriel, one of your students said something really nicely the other day, right? He said, when you're in front of the computer trading, you're just alone with your thoughts, right? So your trading result just a manifestation of the thoughts. I think that was beautifully said. Very, very wise, and it's very true. Essentially, your trading results just reflect what's going on in here. It's all here. Yeah.
Well, RJ has written a big change, Ray. You're a big change from bubbly, hyper to peaceful.
Yeah, I was super hyper. Yeah. It's my personality. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel a lot calmer these days. Things just don't get to me. And, even in life, right? It's in trading, and now my digressing in life is my husband says, oh, meatloaf is dry, right? Before it's hey, take it as a criticism or something. It triggers. Now just, oh, it's a fact, right? You just, take it as a fact. It's the same thing as you get a loser in a trade and it's, oh, okay. Versus, something wrong with me or whatever. Yeah, I think market is a great place to work on yourself, and then with the added bonus of when your work is done, you're not it's done, right? When you improve on working on yourself, you make more profit.
with motivation to
Yeah.
work on yourself.
Oh, Gabriel, can I add one more thing? Like, not specifically related to the system, but it's just like the whole psychology work, right? And when I became profitable trading your system, I understood what Van said once. Like, you need to do like massive self-work to accept windfall profit. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, you know, why? Like, who doesn't want like windfall profit? And when I first started to, you know, see the money coming in and, you know, just the profit, it was, you know, it triggered something. So for me to work on. So it's very interesting. You have to kind of accept that, and, you know, as the number grows bigger, it triggers things, right? So, but a great journey to be in. Thank you for all the nice compliments. Wow. Yeah, these are my buddies from my Super Trader program. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. The last question, 1 or 2. Your chance to ask Ray.
You can email me if you think about questions in the future. It's so good to see everyone. It's like my Super Trader family. But thanks for everyone for the questions, and I hope I could be of some help. And, you know, I'll put in my email here. So feel free to email me if you think about something in the future.
We have allowed Ray access to this workshop, so to these 3 days, so she can pop in whenever she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to,
pop in. Yeah, I'm a chatterbox, so I talk too much sometimes. But
well, Ray and me, I was interviewing Ray, so we've done a trader chat interview, right? So this is one of the bonuses you're getting. So I've interviewed Ray for her trader development, talking about her tremendous growth. And I've interviewed Steve, who is treating trading as a business extremely well. And you will get access to both interviews with Ray and with Steve. So we'll hear more from you anyway, in any case.
Great.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ray, for having joined.
No, it's a pleasure.
You can stay
it's great
in.
Meeting everyone.
Obviously, we'll finish basically, maybe in 20 minutes, half an hour. And because we talked about this, I just wanted to stress that. So after the workshop, it's like reading a book on dancing, right? So you know all the theory, you know the dance steps. Obviously, then you have to practice. And practice is done with a simulator. And it takes about a month, right? So for each system, let's say 50 trades for each system. And you have to make your mistakes in order to learn to flawlessly execute mistake-free. And in some case, even Ray said it, like she had some difficulties grabbing system 2, where you have to train and do it, right? And so you understand it. It's like dancing. No? Some of those dance rhythms you don't get in the beginning, but as you train, well, sometimes at some point it will click. And this is the idea. So one thing, the simulator, make your mistakes, become flawlessly. You can flawlessly execute the rules, mistake-free. And the other thing is, well, you need to understand and learn what is the quality continuum of the trades, right? So some trades are crappy quality. Well, they fulfill the rules, but the quality is really bad, right? So you don't take those. Other trades are really high quality. Well, in the beginning, well, you will find out, okay, this is high quality, this is very low quality. But what about everything in between, right? So that's basically what you experience in taking a lot of trades, this quality continuum. And then you will understand, okay, this is a special situation, then this comes in, right? This is great for the test bar, this is great for the trend. And this is how basically you learn to trade the systems. Yeah. This is in the simulation mode. Quickly achieved. Yeah. Without a simulator, it would take you basically years, right? And like I would say 1.5 to 3 years to make this experience. But with the simulator, like time is accelerated, right? And patterns come up, and yeah, it's much, much quicker nowadays with this technology.
Oh, Gabriel, can I just add one more comment? I just thought about another thing is, you know, if I trying to think about what I was like when I took the workshop, because, you know, my personality, I always tend to jump in, right? I always, almost always underestimate the challenge of like any task. So when on day 2, I felt like I'm ready to trade the system. I was even trying to apply it on, I think on stocks, right? I was sending you chart and say, this I think is whatever, it's an S3, right? I was ready to take a live, you know, with your future system on like equity on stocks, right? So that's where I'm glad I didn't do it. Like you stopped me, right? You don't do it. I wouldn't do it. So then, you know, after doing the simulation, I figured out that there are so many things, actually nuances I really need to train myself. So don't jump in, like my advice would be don't jump into the live market with a system. You get hurt. Sorry.
Okay, another question from Thomas.
Yeah, how do you go about finding your candidates for trade setup? I think for me, it starts, like I'm kind of also a big picture person. I'm not so great with details, but I need to get the big picture. Otherwise, I just always feel lost. So my process is always starting with a high time frame. Like I do my weekly scans on maybe like Sundays before they open. Or right after they open, I do my scanning for like, you know, for the quarterly, monthly, weekly, like all the contracts. So then I already have an idea of where the, you know, the best opportunity could be, right? I have an idea, and, you know, with that kind of as my guiding principle or the overarching idea that set up the context for me, then it's easier for me to know where to hunt. And then it just on a daily basis, like when I start working, I just scan the charts. I use 6 time frames actually. I just scan the 6 time frame charts, and you know, like set up my alerts on where the high frame, the high time frame trends requirements are met. Then I know I'm stalking, right? If I see a consolidation, I'm waiting for a test bar. I set up like these conditional alerts on the MAs, on the 21 MA, for example, on the right time frame. And so when it's triggered, when it touches the 21, I get an alert. So that's something that I use for
you're
for my
pre-selecting.
stalking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you're pre-selecting the areas where you want to scan.
Yeah.
Then you scan it to see whether or not it meets your criteria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, like, you know, oftentimes there is like a couple, like, you know, either equities are trending well, or like metals are doing really strongly, and then the other ones that are kind of choppy over sideways, I just on the higher time frame, I just knew, like, even if there's opportunity, it's going to be on a very low time frame, you know, whether I want to bother with that or not. So oftentimes I just focus on the really strong trending one. It sometimes just rotates. Yeah, you know, of course there are days like when everything is moving. That's also a time that like mental state needs to be ready to, like, you know, you would think that when it's a really good trending day, when everything's moving, it's easy to trade. It's not necessarily. It's actually like psychological. It can be overwhelming, right? When everything is moving in super trend mode or something, it's actually not that easy. So you need to be really like disciplined and kind of mentally rehearse those situations. Yeah. So I use a higher time frame to kind of narrow down the area, and then I just stalk a few through alerts. Yeah. It's actually fairly easy to do.
Yeah, the idea is not to constantly stare and stalk, right? It's
No.
not the idea. The idea is more like you're putting out the fishing rods, right? You've got several fishing rods, you put them out, and then you read a book, basically, and you wait for the fish to snap on, right? That's the idea. And I trade the same way that just Ray explained, right? So the patterns find their way on the visual stalking list. Then I put my alarms, like at critical levels where I want to look at it again. And then I just do something else. Wait for the alarm to go off.
Yeah. I actually think that's actually better. Like for me personally, it's better than I'm just staring at the computer. Then I could just jump the gun sometimes. I know I need the test bar to touch the 21. So if I don't get the alert, no point, second guessing things. And so for me, actually, it helps to be more disciplined, not staring at it all the time. But it's better for your eyes.
Yeah.
Your eyes don't get too tired.
Okay, very good. Very happy that you could come along, Ray. I think it was very, very valuable for the group. A lot of insights.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to share some of the lessons I learned the hard way. I hope people don't have to. Just be easy on yourself. And I know probably a lot of overachiever type A personalities in the group. Just it takes time. You will get it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining, Ray.
My pleasure.
You're welcome whenever you want.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Good luck with everyone. It's a powerful system, and I think just if it fits you, practice, and then I think you will reap the benefit for sure. Thank you, Gabriel. Actually, I want to thank you for sharing your system that you probably took years to develop. It really works well. It's helped me a lot.